This video will start on the hands and knees, and we'll do some cat camel to sort of loosen up the spine. So arching up nice and tall through the spine and then sinking it down and raising the chin, pushing the floor away for the arch, and then sinking everything down, keeping the arms straight, taking your time and following your breath. When you're ready, we're going to thread one arm through to the other side to get a nice shoulder stretch. So reaching over, palm is up, resting the shoulder and the head on the floor, taking some nice deep breaths into the rib cage. From here, you'll come back up onto your hands and switch sides, reaching the other arm through, resting the shoulder on the floor and the head on the floor as well, taking nice deep breaths into the rib cage. Gently pushing the floor away with a supporting arm, getting a nice rotation through the entire torso. From here, you'll come up into a nice tall plank, pushing that floor away, shoulders nice and strong. And we'll bring one leg forward in a pigeon position, and then sending it back into that tall plank and switching sides. So kind of alternating, taking your time, working your way into the stretch. So sinking in a little bit further each time and making sure to nail that nice tall plank every time. On this last switch, you're going to hold it there and sort of rock into the hip, taking your time, following your breath, getting a nice deep stretch through the hip, just kind of noodling around in that end position, looking for what you need the most, and then settling the hips down on the floor and swinging that back leg around. So now we have a bent hamstring stretch. So you're going to reach for that extended leg, taking your time, nice deep breaths. With every exhale, you're going to reach a little bit further, keeping the other leg bent, so you should still be feeling a stretch through the hip. Another deep breath in, and then exhaling as you reach down a little further, making sure not to crank the neck too much. From here, we're going to come up tall, extend both legs for a double hamstring stretch. Again, you're going to take a nice deep inhale, and as you exhale, you're going to reach in for the legs. Reaching for the feet, not pushing it too much, a nice gentle stretch. Now we'll take the other leg and pull it in so it's bent, and you're going to reach for that single leg that's extended. So now we're on the opposite side. Taking your time, inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth as you reach in a little bit further. About 3 breaths here. Feeling the stretch through the hip of the bent leg and the hamstring of the extended leg. And then from here, we're going to swing that extended leg around and back. So now we find ourselves back in that pigeon position, but on the other side. So again, we're going to take our time, nice deep breaths, kind of rocking into the deep end of this stretch, looking for what you may need the most and spending a little bit of time there. From here, we'll sit back on that bent hip and swing that extended leg around once more. So this is our second round of a hamstring stretch for the extended leg, hip stretch continuing for that bent leg. Again, taking your time, following the stretch with your breath, and vice versa. And then we're going to extend both legs for our double hamstring stretch. You should feel a little more limber this time. Nice deep breaths in through the nose, exhaling as you reach in a little bit deeper. From here, we'll bend the other leg. We'll continue with that single leg hamstring stretch with a hip stretch in the bent leg. Nice deep breaths, nice steady reach. No bouncing, no forcing. That straight leg can now swing around to the back, staying straight, and then focusing on the hip of the bent leg in front. Rocking into the stretch, getting in as deep as you can. If you feel like just hanging out in this position and resting your head on the floor, you can do that as well. Taking your time. And then from here, you'll go back into a nice tall plank and then bring it down to a child's pose. And we're gonna rock slightly from side to side, really pressing through one shoulder and then the other, again following your breath. Nice steady movements. And from here, we'll take it down onto our side. So you're gonna lie on one side, legs are bent, knees are up nice and high, and then we'll open up our thoracic. So keeping the bottom arm, the hand should be on the top knee, so it kind of helps keep that knee down. And then I have my bottom foot hooked around my top ankle to get a little more stretch through the hip. Your gaze should follow your hand that's extended out to the side. Nice deep breaths into the ribs. With every exhale, you should try to get that shoulder down closer to the floor. On your last inhale here, you're gonna bring it back to that starting position. Lead with the top knee and roll to the other side. So again, your knees are bent, bottom arm is holding the knee down, top arm opens out, that bottom foot hooks around the top ankle. Nice deep breaths in the ribs. With every exhale, you should get that shoulder down closer to the floor, and your gaze should follow your opening arm. Deep breaths here, and when you're ready, you'll bring it back to that closed position. And then rolling onto your back, you're gonna grab your knees, give yourself a nice big hug. And then placing the feet on the floor, we're gonna work on some pelvic tilts. So your hands could turn up toward the ceiling, and then just focusing on rolling the pelvis off the floor, almost like you're pressing your spine into the floor a little bit. So you're gonna roll up and then unroll, roll up and then unroll. Taking your time, again, breathing in through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. When you're ready, you're gonna pull the knees in, and then hanging onto one knee, one leg comes down so the leg stays bent and the foot's on the floor. The other leg extends up, and we're gonna do alternating single leg bridges. So extending one leg up, pushing the floor away with the bent leg, keeping that pelvic tilt and pushing the hips off the floor, really focusing on the leg that's bent and using that side for the glutes and the hamstring. Nice solid push, alternating side to side, taking your time, keeping that leg as extended as possible and avoiding swinging it towards you. So trying to really eliminate all momentum. Just a nice gentle push off the floor. One more single leg bridge here. And then you're going to pull the knees into the chest for a nice tight knee hug. And then dropping the legs down, extending the arms overhead, giving yourself a full body stretch, really focusing on squeezing the glutes and opening up the front of the hips. And then pull the knees in, hug yourself nice and tight, and then bring them down with control, extending the legs and extending the arms overhead, squeezing the glutes. And then one more time, nice tight knee hug, and then a full extension here, big reach, squeeze in the glutes, and then relax.